Hey guys! So today we are talking about grammar, lesson 19, which is all about prepositions. So if you haven't watched the video about prepositions, go ahead and pause here and go watch that video. But if you have watched it, we are in our purple softcover grammar workbooks on page 49. So again, we are talking about prepositions today. So let's go ahead and look together in the gray box. It says, a preposition shows a relationship between one word in a sentence and the noun or pronoun that follows the preposition. The noun or pronoun that follows the preposition is the object of the preposition. The preposition, the object of the preposition, and the words in between make them a prepositional phrase. Wow, that is a mouthful. So let's just pump the brakes and unpack that for a minute. So, a preposition. One of my favorite ways that I have ever learned about a preposition is to think of it in the context of anything a bee can do to a bottle. So what I mean by that is the bee can fly over the bottle. It can fly into the bottle. If there is a hole in the bottom, it can fly through the bottle, above the bottle, below the bottle, inside the bottle, outside the bottle. So those are all examples of prepositional phrases. Another little trick like that is anything a plane can do to a cloud or a frog can do to a log. Not all prepositions are going to work every time, but it gives you a really good starting point for kind of what is a prepositional phrase. So the preposition is that word. So over, under, in between. It gives the position. So that is the preposition. And then the object of the preposition in the first example I gave would be the bottle. So that is the object that it is describing its relationship to. So we have preposition, and then the object of the preposition is a noun. It is always going to be a noun because it is quite literally an object. And let's see. And so the preposition and the object of the preposition and any words in between make the prepositional phrase. So the frog jumped over the log. So over would be the preposition. Log would be the object of the preposition, and over the log would be the prepositional phrase. So that whole thing. So hopefully that'll give you guys a little bit more insight into exactly what this is saying, because the gray box doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. So maybe it doesn't make a lot of sense to you either. If it does, then that's really great and I'm excited. But hopefully you have a little bit better grasp of that. So let's take a look at the example at the top. At dawn, a lone hiker steps onto the trail. By 10 o'clock, she has descended 4,000 feet. Her reward is a cool drink of water. Okay, so which two bold-faced words begin phrases that tell when? So at or by both tell when. Okay. Which bold-faced word begins a phrase that tells where? So look at that and see which one says where. So if you said onto, you are correct. And which bold-faced word begins a phrase that tells about a noun? If you said of water, you are also correct. Okay, so let's go ahead and look down at part 1. In the sentences below, underline each prepositional phrase. Circle the preposition and draw a box around its object. There may be more than one prepositional phrase in each sentence. So, again, it goes right back to those multi-step problems that we always talk about. So let's break it down just a little bit. So you underline each prepositional phrase. So you're going to start it with the preposition, and the phrase goes all the way until the object of the preposition, which is always a noun. Okay? So you're going to underline the whole phrase. If it were me, I would actually come back and do that as the last step, because the next two steps give us kind of our start and our end point. So it says circle the preposition and then draw a box around its object. So let's look at number 1. The Grand Canyon is one of the world's most spectacular natural formations. Okay, so a preposition in this sentence. Go ahead and look for that. So the word of in this case is the preposition. So go ahead and circle of. Okay, so what noun is that modifying? So of modifies which object? So if you said formations on that one, you are correct. So you can draw a box around formations. So that makes it really easy for us to know exactly what our last step is, which is the first one listed. So that's underline each prepositional phrase. So you start underlining of and go all the way down to formations. So that whole phrase is the prepositional phrase. Of the world's most spectacular natural formations should be underlined. Okay, let's go ahead and just do another one here. Number 2, it was carved by the Colorado River's rushing waters. Okay, so the preposition here is by. By. So circle by. Now this one's a little bit tricky because it is not directly followed by a noun there. So the noun it modifies is not directly after that preposition. So the object of the preposition on number 2 is actually waters. So if you said waters, you are correct. So go ahead and put a box around waters, and then you will underline the entire prepositional phrase. So you have by the Colorado River's rushing waters. So every single one of these questions does have a preposition, an object of the preposition, and a prepositional phrase. And a couple of them have 2, and it looks like one has 3. So keep your eyes peeled for those prepositions. And let's go ahead and flip on over to part 2. Part 2 is on page 50. So it says, complete each sentence with an appropriate prepositional phrase from the word bank or use one of your own. Okay. So you will see a lot of suggestions there in the gray boxes. Or I guess it's just one gray box of prepositional phrases that you can use to complete the sentence. So let's look at number 11. Most visitors drive or walk to viewing points. So you can use whichever ones make sense. So along its trails makes sense. To the bottom doesn't really make sense. At sunset would make sense. Over the Grand Canyon would make sense. Above the Grand Canyon would make sense. And even down the Colorado River could make sense. So there are a lot of things that you could put in there to make it make sense, and it would be correct. So take a look at those, and we can discuss your answers in class, as these are going to vary from person to person and what you think makes the most sense there. So please reach out if you have any questions. If not, I hope you have a great day. Thank you. Goodbye.